Thank you, Kanak, for inviting me. I remember, 10 years back or 20 years, I don't know how you were configured then, but I remember, I recently came across a video, what was called First Circle in Kolkata. Which year was that? Was it 2020? Looks like, yeah. It is many years back. Many years ago, so I'll just get on to the point for I'm being invited here. I founded Value Research in 1990, and that is a time, it was a completely different world. There was no mutual fund of the kind that you see. None of the players whom you deal with existed then. There were 8 mutual fund companies, and of which UTI, LIC, GIC, and 5 other public sector banks. So, 4 of them exist even today in some form. And rest of the people did not exist. And it was not possible to be in your profession then, because there was no supply of, mutual funds were not available on tap in 1990. Once in a while, somebody will launch a mutual fund and people will queue up to buy it. And most stockbrokers used to sell or, hawk mutual funds like IPO forms. So if you look at the world, the way it has changed, it is quite dramatic, this large industry. So all of you are very successful professionals here, who is riding the growth of an industry which did not existed in this form not very long ago. Every component of that industry has changed, and it is not because of the mutual fund, it is not because of the design of the mutual fund. It is substantially because of the ecosystem. When I look at, an ecosystem, when I'm referring to ecosystem, it is so phenomenal. One is that everybody now has money. When I look at the 90s, nobody had surplus. So if you look at, when he was talking about belonging to a large middle-class family, a joint family and all that, that is how most Indians were. The biggest aspiration was that somehow make our child, just educate our child and they'll take care of themselves, and that was the biggest investment that we were making. Most Indians were not geared to manage their savings or surpluses, and that sometimes used to take a lifetime. At the fag end of the life, I have seen, my father was a central government officer, and I have seen that most people of his age and his background and all his colleagues, they used to aspire that they will retire, and closer to their retirement, they will go and build their house. That was the standard configuration. Borrowing money to do something wasn't the way of life. Not today, like when I have a person hired at Value Research, he gets his first salary. Sometimes I'm just curious to know. Then I find that, he's just excited about buying his car, mortgaging his future income of next 3 years, and he's very comfortable with that. Maybe, they are the confident generation. Maybe we did not have that courage in those times. But let me just, share with you 3 principles which have, come very handy to me. And all these principles which I am telling you, I was not knowledgeable about it. When in 1990, when I founded Value Research, it was an accidental start. But in 3 things which comes to my mind, which is very valuable for anybody in this profession, and they are enduring principles. They are not going to expire. They are not going to be out of relevance anytime soon. One is that most of the time I come across people who are normally struggling with the changing configuration and worrying about the world in a manner you can't do much about. First and foremost, I would like to encourage you to think, have a growth mindset. Make sure that, when you look at tomorrow, when you look at all the concerns that we have tomorrow, we have great concerns. The digitization, we have seen the abolition of entry load that looked like a calamity. But when if you look at what looked like calamity in near term, you look at any time frame of 5 years, it looked like it's a missed opportunity. You should not have wasted a single moment worrying about it. You should have only thought about how to solve it, how to deal with it, how to navigate that. Because any medium term, and we are in a very lucky spot. When I look at any 5 year in my surrounding on any dimension, whether it be education, whether it be finances, whether it be savings, whether it be personal finances, whether it be savings alternatives, the way we people are doing it, the mechanism, the ecosystem, the way it is evolving, everything that we have done, that we are doing today, when I look back 5 years ago, it was impossible. It was unthinkable. We could not fathom, we can't really visualize it. The way the money is moving today, the UPI, the apps and other things, if anybody, in fact, if somebody died 10 years ago, comes out from his grave and sees what is going on, he will die again. Because everything looks magical. My sense is that, figure out your way. Think of how you can actually ride the growth. I have seen a lot of entities. Accidentally, I have been in a profession where I have dealt with or I have interacted with many of you who were the stars in the 90s, who were the stars in the 2000s, who were the stars in the last decade, and they are no longer stars. They either got older, they got unenthusiastic, they were unable to deal with the changing configuration, and the people who have prospered, growth and thriving are the ones who have changed radically. They have made some difficult choice and then bet their future on that. So having a positive and a growth mindset is critical. Second is that the technology bit. If you can't embrace technology, wind up your business. If you can't and that does not mean that you have to become a programmer. That does not mean that you have to become a technology expert. Just trying to know how things work so that you can derive the most out of it. You can actually decode what all can be done. In fact, we are getting into a completely different orbit with this artificial intelligence which is evolving. And I can tell you with such great confidence, I'm a publisher. Most of you people know me because of my writing, or you have been accessing my website, looking at the information. That has such a far greater. Today, if you tell me that all that I do today, for which there are about 120 people, primarily in the business or activity of research, putting numbers and helping me put together everything that we do. Today we have come to with this large language technology, the framework. Today, all that we do with 120 people, we are doing an auditing, and it can be done with just about 10 people. It is so imaginative, it is so mind-boggling that today we are staring at a situation where these people need to be repurposed, otherwise we will be obsolete. Third is, building relationships. What to say that, if you just keep growing and not really retain your relationship, it is like a sinking ship with a lot of holes in it. Not being able to build that, and that I think, is so much crucial in this profession, because this is a creative business. And today, the way the world has changed, you cannot really spend your money to get loyalty or get charm your customer. The biggest driver of the business that you are in is only when somebody's friend tells him that he's a nice guy to deal with. There is absolutely no substitute to it. And I can tell you with my own experience, for first 15 years of value research, we got followers entirely by word of mouth. We had, even now we don't spend money in promoting anything, but I can tell you that when you do a good idea finds its followers. If you do a good job, you will find a follower, and that requires a deeper relationship, deeper understanding, and worrying about that customer, worrying about your client, worrying about that investor, and empathizing with him. And all the people who haven't done that in the last 30 years, I have seen them expiring. I've seen them dying. I've seen a lot of institutions dying. People who just got focused on their short-term goals and not these primary goals, which is worrying about their customer. So thank you very much. I'm being told that time's up. Thank you.